1967, we ran the track out there. We put a curve onto it and used the switcher to push it into place. Then we tore up the track after it was in place. So, 67, it's been here 56 years. Now, 6200 was used for a part source to keep 6218 running in the 60s, early 70s. So there's some parts missing on here because it was used for 6200. And at one point it was coming from Montreal to Brockville. One of the Alamite grease fittings, that's what they used for putting the hard grease into the rods. It flew off somewhere around Morrisburg. So we had to come up and steal one off of this engine to fit it on. Yeah, my father was locomotive foreman in Brockville when these engines were being built. So what they did, they usually broke in engines that were either overhauled at Point St. Charles or built in Kingston, Montreal, and light freights between Brockville and Montreal. So that's the reason Dad was sent to Montreal, or sent to Brockville, because Brockville's the turnaround, and this is where they did inspections to make sure there were no problems with newly assembled or newly repaired locomotives.
Okay, so here we are in front of 6200. We've got some new bulbs in place. They're 12-volt LED bulbs with the innocent base. We've got the headlight classifications from the donor, the collector, and the number board's lit as well, but you can't see it. The idea is that'll be run by a 12-volt battery back in the cab with a solar panel and one solar panel to charge it and maintain it. And the solar controller will turn the lights on at dusk, run for a period of time, say 2 hours, and then shut down. So it'll be a cosmetic, pretty thing.
So we're standing here right where the first, the old berm was, and this is a bridge rail that connected our temporary rail for the train. We first had to source all the ties, count up how many ties we actually needed, look at the amount of rail that we needed, get the tie plates, and get the spikes and make sure we had all the material. And then we of course had to assemble a crew. The next step was to get Aikman to level the ground and make sure it was of the correct height. And that was accomplished about a day before we actually started laying rail. So then we started early in the morning, we laid all the ties, tried to get them in a row, put a chalk line down to at least get one reference rail. And then after that, we actually laid the rail on the tracks. That involved using a forklift because the rail is 100-pound rail, so that's 100 pounds every 3 feet. These rails are 30 to 39 feet long, so there's no way we're doing it by hand. And then put one rail in place, bolt up all the joint bars, make sure it's straight with the help of a forklift or a backhoe, and then start spiking. And Phil Jago did most of the spiking because I guess he wanted to spike. We tried a pneumatic spiker, but we found spiking by hand was a lot faster. Once we had the one rail spiked up, then we used a gauge bar, which we made ourselves to ensure that we had a gauge of 4 foot 8.5 inches, and we started spiking up from the berm all the way down to the end of the track. And basically we had just enough tie plates and spikes to make it to the end of the tender, and that was